Hey, so it's been a little while. Thursday, I was trying to upload a video. I was trying to record a video, actually. As soon as I sat down to record, I got called in to work because they needed me. It kind of sucks being reliable, but here we are. And I've worked every day since, and I still work. I work today and I work tomorrow. So the next day that I will be able to record is on Tuesday. With that said, let's get into the topic. Now, the topic is things that are not philosophy. And I want to be clear here. I don't mean that anything here is necessarily bad. For example, rhetoric. Rhetoric is not philosophy. But rhetoric is necessary. So let's talk about rhetoric a bit. Rhetoric is essentially just phraseology used to convince others of a point. Now, rhetoric is necessary. Rhetoric is necessary for convincing people that your philosophy is correct. Rhetoric is necessary for arguments. And there are actually people who will not use rhetoric at all. A lot of those people will also not use philosophy. So they are using neither. They will just make a point and assert the point. Now that's not good. That's not philosophy. That's not rhetoric. That's just assertion of a point. And I am still sick, by the way. I've been sick this whole week, and I'm going to be sick for God knows how much longer. I've gotten a little better, but I'm still sick. So there are people who are good at rhetoric who are not good at philosophy. Now let's talk about that for a bit. Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is someone who I have known for a long time to not actually be a right-winger. He is considered right-wing, but he is not actually a right-winger. He does not do philosophy. He does rhetoric. And you can see this because he never has anything to propose. He never proposes anything. He never goes into detail about anything. He doesn't have a philosophy. He has statements, vagaries that he makes, and he proposes these vagaries, and then he doesn't propose how to go about achieving them. His task is essentially just to gain attention and to gain gain attention for the right, gain attention for himself, and essentially just bring attention to things that there's already a lot of attention on. And other people have pointed this out as well. Another person who is good at rhetoric, but not necessarily good at philosophy, Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin does not do philosophy. He simulates philosophy. He simulates philosophy, but he doesn't actually engage in philosophy. And I'll explain why that is. Because Curtis Yarvin, he doesn't honestly examine the ideas. He simply uses rhetoric to try to convince people to come over to his side of things. That's all. He doesn't go in at length honestly examining the ideas. He doesn't. He pretends to. For example, he has an article called "Capitalism and Socialism Are Both Fake," wherein he pretends to analyze both capitalism and socialism, but he doesn't honestly do it. And the whole point of the article is not to analyze these ideas. It is to convince the reader to come over to his side. That is rhetoric. That is not philosophy. Philosophy is an unbiased examination of ideas. Now, it doesn't stay unbiased. You do come to conclusions with philosophy. But if you're not honestly examining, you are not doing philosophy. Now, let's talk about some other things that are not philosophy. A while back, Tick History responded to this YouTube channel called Owning Dishonest Shills. Owning Dishonest Shills is these two Cockney British guys. They obviously have low IQs. The one guy, actually I think it's one British guy and another American. But the British guy has a very thick accent, and he struggles to pronounce words properly. And this is a sign of a low IQ, by the way, and this is true everywhere. The thicker the accent, the lower the IQ. Now, one thing that stood out to me is that these guys said that Tick was wrong about his definitions because he was using history to come to his definitions, and no one cares about the history of the terms. That is not how philosophy is done. You do have to analyze the history, especially if you are a historian like Tick is. And then the British guy went on to say, I believe it should be more philosophical. I feel as though it should be defined as this. Feelings are not philosophy. You need to rationalize what you are saying. You need to have proper reasoning for what you are saying. Just having a vague feeling doesn't mean anything. You can feel anything. You can be wrong about it. So that did stand out to me. Don't use your feelings in place of facts, okay? If you are countering someone who has facts, you need to bring at least as many facts as the person you are countering. Feelings, if you use your feelings, you're just invalidating yourself, okay? So, one other thing that I wanted to bring up, this is a bit more specific, in regards to philosophy. Socratics, Socratic philosophy, Socratic debate. Socratic debate is not arguing in circles. People love to bring up this example of, I know only that I know nothing. Well, if you know nothing, isn't that something that you know? I know only that I know nothing. And that's circular, but I have engaged with debate with people in the past, and I've been like, well, they've been like refusing to engage in debate, and I've been like, they say that I'm wrong, and I'm like, why don't you prove that I'm wrong? Can't you prove that I'm wrong? Can't you analyze what I'm saying? And then they say like, well, how do you want me to do this? And I was like, can you try Socratics? Can you try the Socratic method? And then so they begin being very aggressively addressing every point that I say, but then they act as if they haven't addressed anything that I've said. So like, I will provide a link, a citation, and they will address the citation, but then the very next comment, they will pretend like I never provided the citation. That is not Socratics. Socratics builds on top of everything that is discussed. So You go through point 1, point 2, point 3, and then you keep that and you criticize point 4 or whatever. You don't just go in circles. If you actually read Plato, if you actually read what Socrates did and said, he never went in circles. He never pretended like he didn't know anything. He did say that he knew very little, but he never argued in circles. He never pretended like something was not said after it was. He addressed every point and he built on top of the points. So, that's about all. Thank you for watching. Peace.